Jordi Cruyff, the impossible inheritance. Imagine being born as Johan Cruyff's son. You're basically set up to fail from birth. Jordi wasn't bad, he was actually good. Came through Barcelona's academy, scored in La Liga, even played for Manchester United. But here's the problem, when your dad is Johan Cruyff, good isn't good enough. He didn't have Johan's vision, touch, or charisma, and while his career was decent, Spain, England, Ukraine, even coaching later, it always carried the same label, Cruyff's kid. He became more respected as an executive than as a player. But on the pitch, he was the first major reminder that football genius might not be hereditary. Enzo Zidane, the name curse. Being Zidane's son should come with a warning label, because there's no winning when your dad scored a World Cup final brace and headbutted his way into immortality. Enzo Zidane came through Real Madrid's academy, captained their youth sides, and even debuted under Zinedine himself. But that's where the story peaked. He bounced from Switzerland to Portugal to the Spanish lower leagues, never finding a stable club. For a while, people thought he'd inherit his father's elegance. But instead, he became a cautionary tale about pressure. To be fair, being Zidane's son is like starting a marathon while being compared to a god. Enzo didn't fail because he was bad. He failed because comparison made success impossible. Brooklyn Beckham, the celebrity footballer. Yes, this one's real. David Beckham's eldest son was once part of Arsenal's academy. He had the looks, the name, the connections, and absolutely none of the drive. After a few months, Arsenal quietly released him. Brooklyn retired from football before he even turned 17 and pivoted to photography, which is fine, except the entire football world had already hyped him up as the next Beckham. Turns out having your dad bend it doesn't mean you can too. Still, Brooklyn became a professional in another sense. Professional at reminding us that not every football dynasty needs a sequel. Diego Maradona Jr., the shadow of a god. Now this one hurts, because Diego Maradona Jr. didn't even get a fair chance. Born out of wedlock in Italy, he wasn't even acknowledged by Maradona until he was an adult. But even when he got recognition, he couldn't escape the shadow of the greatest dribbler of all time. He played for tiny Italian clubs like Jesolo and Servia, scoring a few here and there. But the name Maradona is a curse as much as a blessing. You can't just be decent, you have to be divine. And Diego Jr., for all his heart, was never close. He spent more time fighting for identity than chasing glory, and maybe that's what makes his story the saddest of them all. Kasper Dolberg, the Laudrup effect. Almost. The Laudrup family is Danish football royalty. Michael and Brian were artists with the ball, stylish, calm, beautiful. Then came a wave of the next Laudrups that haunted Denmark for years. Kasper Dolberg wasn't literally their son, but he was sold as their spiritual heir. Ajax fans once believed he'd lead Denmark into a golden age. For a moment he did, scoring in Europe, dazzling defenders. Then his form evaporated like a ghost. He bounced from Nice to Sevilla to Hoffenheim, never living up to the hype. It wasn't pure nepotism, more like national obsession. Denmark wanted another Laudrup so badly they tried to manifest one. Spoiler, it didn't work. Jordan Larsson, the son of Celtic's king. Henrik Larsson was beloved. He was elegance, consistency, and loyalty in one man. Jordan Larsson, he had the jeans, the hairstyle, and the boots, but not the legend. To his credit, he's carved a career. AIK, Spartak Moscow, even Schalke. But every club comes with the same headline, Henrik's son joins. The pressure's been brutal. No one ever let him just be Jordan. And even when he scored, fans compared his celebration to his dad's. He's not a failure, he's just living under a name too heavy to carry. Christian Maldini, the dynasty that couldn't continue. 3 generations of Maldinis at AC Milan, Cesare, Paolo, and then Christian. The prophecy seemed written in stone, but Christian Maldini never got close. He played for Milan's youth team, but while his father was captaining Italy, Christian was struggling in Serie C. He retired early and became a football agent. It's not tragic, it's just the reality of a family that peaked too high. Paolo's shadow is so long that even San Siro still echoes his name. Christian never stood a chance. Isaac Drogba, the Chelsea prince who disappeared. Didier Drogba was a monster. Power, precision, clutch goals in finals. So when his son Isaac joined Chelsea's academy, fans expected the next great striker, but it never happened. He struggled to break through even at youth level, later moving to the Italian 4th tier. That's a long way from Istanbul or Wembley. He's still playing, quietly, but nowhere near his father's orbit. And that's the thing about Nepo footballers. The gap between legacy and reality is often unbridgeable. Justin Kluivert, the false prophet. For a moment, Justin Kluivert looked like he'd make it. Son of Patrick Kluivert, Ajax legend, Champions League winner. He came through the same academy, scored screamers, had swagger for days. Then came the big move to Roma at 19. Too soon. His confidence collapsed, his goals dried up, and the hype turned to silence. He bounced from Leipzig to Valencia to Bournemouth, still chasing his father's ghost. He's not bad, he's just not Patrick Kluivert. And in football, that's all people remember. Rivaldinho, the Brazilian pressure cooker. Rivaldo's son should have been destined for greatness. He had the left foot, the name, and the backing. But Rivaldinho's journey was more soap opera than fairy tale. He played for clubs across Brazil, Bulgaria, Poland, and Romania, and even once shared a pitch with his dad. Rivaldo Sr. literally subbed himself on to play alongside him. It was wholesome and symbolic, because Rivaldinho's entire career felt like an extension of his father's, not his own. He scored a few, worked hard, but when your dad has a Ballon d'Or, even decent looks like failure. Shaun Wright-Phillips, the forgotten one. Technically not a total failure, Shaun Wright-Phillips had a solid career, but considering he was Ian Wright's son and once England's next big thing, his trajectory fell off a cliff fast. Manchester City's wonder kid, Chelsea's expensive signing, then nothing. No consistent form, no lasting legacy. He was fast, exciting, but ultimately underwhelming. And while his half-brother Bradley Wright-Phillips became an MLS legend, Shaun became a cautionary tale of early hype gone wrong. Sometimes being good just isn't enough when your dad was great. Hugo Maradona, the forgotten brother. You think Diego's son had it tough? Try being Diego's brother. Hugo Maradona played for Napoli's youth team during Diego's reign, literally living in the same city as a deity. He was skilled, intelligent, and hardworking, but small, slow, and overshadowed. He never made it past the 2nd tier, bouncing around Japan and Spain before coaching. Even now, people don't say Hugo, they say Diego's brother. In a family of gods, even the decent mortals disappear. Giovanni Simeone, the fiery heir. Now, Giovanni Simeone isn't a total flop, he's solid. But when your dad is Diego Simeone, the ultimate warrior coach, expectations are insane. Giovanni plays with that same aggression, the same never die attitude. But while Diego was winning titles as captain and then as Atletico Madrid's coach, Giovanni was bouncing between Fiorentina, Cagliari, and Napoli as a role player. He's good, but he's not Diego good. And when your father's built like a myth, even success feels small. All these players prove one thing: football doesn't care who your dad is. It doesn't care if you grew up in a mansion, trained at elite academies, or had World Cup medals on your breakfast table. Once you're on the pitch, the surname means nothing, because football has no inheritance tax. You can't buy instinct. You can't inherit greatness. The pressure, the comparisons, the media, it destroys more sons than it builds. For every Maldini or Haaland that continues the dynasty, there are 10 others who fade quietly into semi-pro leagues or retire at 26. And yet every generation tries again, because football, like family, is about legacy, even if that legacy sometimes eats its own children. So next time you see a famous surname on a team sheet, remember, it's not just another debut, it's a test against history. Some will rise, most will crumble, because in football you can inherit fame, but you can't inherit greatness. That's the curse of the Nepo baby, and it's why their stories are never just failures. They're lessons written in last names.